Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of November 17th through November 23rd, 2025, and I'm working with products from my stash. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so this week I am not working with a kit, so I'm going to be trying to use up some products in my stash. And I haven't decided yet exactly how I want to approach that. Let's see what happened this week. So I have my take a note here. I'm going to flip to this week, which is the 17th through the 23rd. So this is where I kind of see a recap of what happened. So I had a lot of work going on. A lot of work, which is pretty typical for me right now. I got my new ornaments here. Let's see, just so much work. And then I went to the mall randomly. I went shopping. I visited my daughter at work. I had a storyteller Zoom. I put up some Christmas decorations. I got my new take a note for 2026. So these two photos are both super colorful, so I like the idea of bringing in a lot of color. Let's see, this is putting up Christmas decorations, and then we had December Daily Prep Day. Here's more putting up Christmas decorations, and this is just a silly photo with pumpkin and just a cute photo of pumpkin. Okay, so I think that's kind of a good setup. Maybe I'll do more like this, just to kind of balance more on here. We'll see. So I'm going to put this to the side, and then I'm going to go look in my stash and see what I want to use for this spread. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is I created a new section in my Project Life card organizer for card sets. So like there's those 3 vellum pieces. There's these ones that say short story. There's these ones that say story. And I haven't gone through all of my cards, but I want to kind of pull ones together like this because I do like to use things like this. So for example, I could pull these and use them for repeated stories throughout the spread. Now, I don't think I have that many stories for this week, so I'm not going to do that, but I like the idea of keeping these together like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in my stash as just a side project to help me use up more products. Okay, so I just looked through some home themed cards because I'm thinking of what I want to do here. And I kind of like just doing a filler there for a 4x6. And I like the colors of that with the spread. But I was also thinking about maybe coming up with a prompt card for here. But I think I'm going to stick with this one for now and start looking at my 3x4s and see if I can pull from the colors to kind of bring this spread together. Okay, so just like with word phrase strips, like I mentioned in a previous video, I'm going to use the most specific themed cards first to pull from, because if any of them fit, then that's great. These are the hardest ones to use. I have my list of stories in here that I can flip through as I'm looking through this, and I kind of looked at them in advance to kind of get an idea of what kind of stories I need to tell this week. And I'm going to use this as a jumping off point. So I'm just going to look through these quickly and see if any of them match the colors and a story that I could tell. And I'm putting these aside because this is a match set that I'm going to put in that other section. Okay, so I'm trying to find a filler card, and I really liked this one, but I feel like the blue kind of clashes with that one. I have the pops of teal, so I'm trying to pull that in. So I found this one, and I wanted to put one here because I wanted the white next to this. I don't want two whites touching, partially because the whites are not the same, and I don't like the way it looks as much. So I'm gonna move this one over here. So now let's see, I have a title card, which I picked this one because I think it works with the Bring On the Changes, because we're switching into kind of Christmassy season. And it also works with the colors. I feel like a lot of these colors, even though they're slightly more muted here, I think it still works. And then I have this filler. This house one obviously goes with this one. It's from the same collection. And I believe these are from Feed Your Craft, which is no longer a store. Fortunately, there's a little smudge on here, but I'm not sure what I'm gonna be able to do about that. And then, so this is gonna be a journaling about putting out the decorations and kind of rotating to Christmas decorations. This one I think I'm gonna use as a bullet point list for some positives and negatives from the week. This Life Unscripted I think will work for a filler or a journal card about our spontaneous trip to the mall and visiting Summer at work. I don't love those rounded corners, but I think I could just put some white paper behind it and it will work. And then this one was another very specific card, and I think I'm gonna use this one for the prep day. So I think I'm just gonna write December, looking forward to December, and then I'll write about prep day on there, which was the Sunday. So I just need one more card for right here. And I don't really have anything specific. I could do another bullet point list of stories that don't fit on the highs and lows, or I could do another filler, but I don't know that I want another filler. I started going through, these are my very specific filler cards, so the hardest ones to use. But because I have this filler and this filler, I don't know that I need another filler. So I think I'm gonna look for something else. Okay, so what I'm doing now is going through my kind of patterned cards that are greens, and I'm gonna look for one that I think goes with the colors, and like this one possibly does. And then my thought is I'm gonna put like a large embellishment on there. So I'll just go through these and see if there's one that goes better than that one. So I like this one because it's the trees for Christmas, but it's more green, although this is green, whereas this is more teal, which I think pulls out the green in these trees. But there's no teal in this card. Well, there's this light teal, but none of this dark teal. And then this darker one is more green. So it's like the light teal matches, but the dark teal not so much. So that one can go though, but this one does as well. They just like give it a slightly different look to the whole spread. So like this one, the colors go, but the base is white, and so I don't want it next to that card. I want one where the base is not white. Okay, so I could go through my blues now, but I think I want to just pick between these two. And I'm kind of leaning towards this one because it's the specific of the trees, but I also really like the colors of this one. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave both here as options. And then when I go through the embellishments to see which one will fit, I will figure out which embellishment looks best and which card works for that. Okay, so that's a good starting point. At this point, I need to do my journaling and my embellishing. So I'm going to embellish this with like a chipboard piece. I might put, I don't know if I want to put anything on there. And then usually I do some sort of embellishment cluster across a few of the photos. And then I'll do my journaling and that will be it. Okay, so I'm going to start this one with my journaling on this little card with the houses on it. And for this one, I'm going to be journaling about decorating for the holidays. So usually I wait until the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I put away all my fall decor and put up all of my Christmas decor. But for some reason, I was really just feeling it already. I think because it's getting colder outside. We had a little bit of snow in November, nothing that stuck. But now that I'm doing this recording, the outside is totally covered in snow. We're full on in winter in early December. So I think it was just an early winter this year, and I was just ready to transition to the holidays. So I'm just journaling about that here, about putting away all the fall decor. I did some cleaning. I always like to take the opportunity to clean the shelves a bit better with all of the decor off of them, and then I will put all of the Christmas stuff up. So I mentioned earlier there was a little smudge on this card. So what I did was I went into my stash and I found these little star stickers from Studio Calico, and these have got to be like 10 years old at least. And I just put them around there, one to cover the smudge, and then I added some others. I was just going to do the 3 yellow ones, but there was also 1 red star left, and I wanted to just use up that sheet of stickers. So I did that. And now I'm working on finding a chipboard piece to go on one of these filler cards. So I know I said in the beginning I was trying to decide between the two, but I really kind of had it in my mind that I wanted to use this more teal card. I feel like it just makes the colors on the spread pop more when the darker green one is there. It just makes everything a little bit more muted. And I have some very vibrant, bright colors this week in my photos, and I really wanted to play with that. So I have those new ornaments that I pulled out, and I ordered them and I got them this year. And I'm not sure if they came this week. I think they came this week. And that's why I have that picture of them in the box. I also took a picture of them during the week when I actually decorated the tree, but I'm not going to put it in here twice. It was just such a fun photo to take. It's also in my December daily album. And I also have that vibrant, colorful photo in the middle of the right-hand side because that is the wall in my laundry room. I have this very bright, colorful wallpaper, and I use that as a backdrop to take a photo of some of my journal things at times. So that's my 2026 planner. And so I wanted to take a photo of it in front of that wall, and because it came this week. So I just have those really bright colors. And so I really wanted to kind of lean into that this week. Also, if you're interested in learning more about my 2026 planner lineup, I do have a full video setting those up, and I will link that in the description box below if you want to head over and see that next. I added the dates to the title card, and I selected that chipboard piece that says Heart Wide Open. I believe that was from the Open Story Kit, and I was really excited to use that one because it is kind of a specific sentiment and it's very large. So it's one that would probably sit in my stash for quite a bit. So I'm happy that I was able to find a home for it here. I pulled over these puffy stickers, and these are, I believe, also from Studio Calico. Again, very old. I did not get the Studio Calico kits for the last couple of years that they offered them, so all of my Studio Calico supplies are super old, but I'm just using a couple of those puffy stickers on a few of my photos. I'm obviously not going to use up that entire sheet in this spread, but just making a dent in it is very nice. Here I decided I wanted to add a title on this journaling card. The journaling card says looking forward to. So I decided to put December on there and then use this to journal about getting ready for December, and specifically the December daily prep party that happened on Sunday of this week. I pulled over all of my alpha stickers from Cocoa Daisy from the Cocoa Daisy Cousin sticker kit. I really love these sticker kits because they are flat, and every single one comes with an alpha that is flat stickers. And so they're great for in journals and planners, but they're also great in project life. And so I picked this one that is also that teal colors. And so it goes really well with that journal card on the left-hand side. It kind of helps tie the spread together with all of these pops of teal throughout. I'm doing my journaling here, just again, like I said about the prep party, and just participating in that and what I was doing that whole day. I also cleaned the bathrooms that day, so I wanted to just mention that too in here, and getting ready for just the next month and all the projects and everything that come along with it. If you follow me on Instagram or have been watching some of my other videos, you probably have heard me say that November has been an extremely busy month for me, and I really want a slower December, and so far it's been that way. It's been great. It's still very early in December, but I have had a much better pace. We had a snow day on December 2nd. I still had to work because I can work remotely, but it's just nicer to have more time at home. So here I pulled over my stamp organization binder. I wanted a little arrow to create a bullet point list for the highs and lows card. Originally, I was thinking of doing like arrows up and down for the highs and lows, but instead I decided to just kind of make a list of things that happened this week, not necessarily focused on highs and lows. A lot of them are. So I'm going to use those arrows just as bullet points without pointing up or down. I decided to work on this card first because I wanted to get the story down here. The bullet point list card is a card I do in most of my Project Life spreads, and it just has all those micro stories from the week that don't fit somewhere else. So it's easiest for me to do all of my other journaling first and know what stories I have left to put on that bullet point list card, because I don't want to put something small there and then realize I want to expand on it on another card, and then it will be duplicated. So this card here is about a spontaneous trip we took to the mall on Friday night. We usually are not evening people. I'm especially not an evening person, but we decided, we just had some extra time in the evening and we had a little energy. It was Friday night. We decided to head to the mall because there were a few places we wanted to go before the holiday rush. We like to avoid the mall during December and after Thanksgiving because it's just too crowded. My daughter also works at the mall at Victoria's Secret, and she recently started that job a couple months ago, and I hadn't gone to see her at work, and I didn't actually check with her to see if she was working, but we went in just to surprise her and see if she was, and she was in fact working, but she was actually helping a customer, and it was the slowest customer of all time. So I stood in line behind them in hopes, that she wouldn't even see me and I could go next, but someone else opened another cash register because this customer was taking so long. And I was like, no, I'm just going to wait for her. And the lady was looking at us like we were weird because we were just like standing there without shopping. And so I don't know if she thought we were shoplifters or whatever, but then finally Summer saw me and she's like, Mom, what are you doing here? And then the other girl's like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, it was funny. It was nice to see her at work, and she actually was getting off right when we got there. So we walked out with her. So I just wanted to tell that story. And I added those mall stickers just to match to what I was doing on the other cards. Here I am just completing my bullet point list, stamping those out. And then I'm going to wrap this spread up. I think this one came together really well. I'm super happy with how it came out. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.